Hello, welcome back to my channel. I had a program today, can you tell? I have new art, which makes my wall look a little bit better. Oh, now that I'm looking at it in the camera, they're slightly off center. Well, I'll fix that in a little bit. But yes, now I have new art. Now I have 3 pieces of art underneath my bed. This is, of course, from the Umbrella Academy, and this is just a beautiful tape design with 2 colors of pink and blue, and then the purple is the pink and blue mixed together. So my bedroom is more and more complete with everything that I do. Every little event we have makes my room a little bit more and more complete. So I got my couch, my, you know, art, and my bed all in a row. I'm on duty again tonight. Woohoo! Weekend duty means I get paid for 3 hours of work instead of just 2 hours of work, which is good. But it means I have to do an extra round, although it's not nearly as bad as during the school year. So, because I am inspired from my program today, woohoo, super fun, I thought I'd talk a little bit about what it's like to be involved in a residence life team. For anyone who might be interested or interested to know my experience, about what it's been like for me at my school. So my school has 2 different types of resident advisors. The resident advisors that are specifically for first years, and then the resident advisors who work with upperclassmen. And I work with upperclassmen, although I might work with first years next year if they need me to. As I said yesterday, I was offered a different position in a different building. If they can't find anyone to do it, I might have to end up doing it. So basically, the reason that they split resident advisors up that way is because first years require a lot more attention. They're learning everything new, learning how to live on their own for the first time, and so a lot of them have a lot of questions and need a lot more support than upperclassmen who've kind of figured out at least a little bit what's going on in their lives. So if you're with first years, they require a lot more hands-on programming, a lot more involvement, a lot more open hours, a lot more of you presenting yourself for them, which is super nice. And I admire the people who do it so lovingly. I originally wanted to be a first-year resident advisor when I was applying, but since working with upperclassmen, I've kind of come to really enjoy that. So that's now my preferred group. I really like putting on programs for them because they're so appreciative. It's not like when you're first year and you just assume that everyone cares about what's going on with you all the time. You know, especially working with sophomores, there's this thing that, you'll hear about a little bit when you're in college called the sophomore slump. But it's definitely a real thing. Your friends who are just a year older than you, your first year, go abroad their junior fall, and so your sophomore fall, you're like old, and you're like probably older than a majority of campus, especially if your school is getting bigger and bigger, which is what mine is doing right now. So like you are in the percentage of being an upperclassman, kind of, but you have no real authority because you're just a sophomore and you've only been there 1 year longer than the freshmen. The freshmen don't necessarily listen to you. Also, I'm sorry I'm going back and forth on the term freshman and first year. There's a push by my school to call freshmen first years just because freshman has the term man in it, and to be inclusive of women, they are trying to get rid of that term and use first year. And I actually prefer the term first year. Controversial opinion. A lot of my female friends just don't care, and they're like, just call me a freshman, it's fine. But I prefer the term first year, not because I'm like, men are, I should be a fresh woman, but just because it's inclusive of everybody, and it's like a good term. I think better than freshman. Freshman reminds me of high school a lot. And first year, I just associate more with being like a college student. And it's not like they're pushing to call sophomores second years or anything like that. It's just for the first years. I think it's a little bit less demeaning than freshmen. I don't know why. Oops. Yeah, so, so I work with sophomores. My building is a building entirely of sophomores. It is the only building besides the first year halls that is technically like only for one class. And that's done intentionally to group all of these people together because, you know, you kind of have an idea of who your friends are, and then you might meet someone new and they're your year because they're in your building, and it's great. So I've really enjoyed working with sophomores. I mean, I was a sophomore last year, so I could really relate to a lot of the things that they were going through, like declaring a major, picking an advisor, you know, having this weird, like, I have power, but I don't have any power. It's like especially prevalent in organizations like club sports, or I'm in an a cappella group. So there's like this like weird dynamic where it's like you are kind of like a junior who should kind of have a role in being in charge, but also the seniors are still here and they're also in charge, and you're like only a step above the freshmen, so why would you be in charge? So there's this weird power dynamic for the sophomores, and there's an expectation by the freshmen that you know what's going on, which half the time you don't really know what's going on. So I'm excited to be a junior and finally kind of have some of my stuff together and to be able to answer questions a little bit more accurately about what sophomore year is like and all that kind of stuff, like give more advice about declaring your major. I'm thinking of hosting a major declaration party and or, you know, educational event. And it's just a way for, I'm gonna really try to put myself out there and connect more with my residents, whether they be first years or sophomores. So we'll see, you know, if I'm still here or if I move, which would be a hassle. But yeah, so, and basically what we're required to do, and different schools have different requirements for their resident advisors, we're required to host a total of 4 physical programs, and then we have to do 2 visual programs, which can be, you know, sending out a YouTube video, putting together a poster to put on your hall, a special educational bulletin board, that kind of stuff. All of those count as visual programs. So we're required to host 4 physical programs. 2 of those have to be educational, and 2 of them can be social and fun. Not that you can't have more programs than that if your budget allows, but that's what our main programming is like. So, I mean, over the summer it's a little bit different. So we're just hosting social programs over the summer, and we have 4 of them, which is a little bit, you know, more lax because it's not like we're supposed to be teaching over the summer. So, but we have 4 main curriculum for students to learn self-awareness, inclusive excellence, community responsibility, and wellness. And those 4 curriculum go into making an educational program. So if you do like a nutrition program and you have smoothie day and, you know, you host some fun facts about that kind of stuff, that can be a wellness program. If you host a diversity program, a diversity day program or something like that, that can be an inclusive excellence program. If you host a like, let's thank the building services people who clean up after us, that can be a community responsibility program. So there's like a whole host of things. There's a bunch of things that you can do because wellness has like 8 facets of wellness or something like that. And so like each of those has subcategories that you can kind of fill in as you will. And so that's the basis of our 2 educational programs, and you typically include food to make people come, or art or something like that. Like a crafternoon could be like a educational program if it includes like meditation or something about mental health. That could be an educational program. So that's kind of fun. And then we have 2 social programs that can be whatever you want. I did trashy TV and brownies the night after reading day as like a study break kind of thing, and mental health awareness. Sorry there was an abrupt cut. I'm running out of storage on my phone, so this is gonna have to be quick. But anyway, I was saying we do social programs, all kinds of stuff. So that's pretty much what being an RA is, being available to your residents, doing those like 6 programs, and doing duty, which is the big thing. So that's what my experience has been like being an RA, and I've really enjoyed it. You get a lot of money, and it's really worth it. You get to connect with people you wouldn't necessarily get to be friends with, which is nice. And it's also a lot of teamwork. You work with the other RAs in your building, with RAs in other buildings, depending on what your organization level is. So that's kind of what that's like for us and for me. Last thing I wanted to do real quick is do a shout out to my Aunt Elise, who's also been watching my videos. I got a text this morning saying that she has been on vacation, but she has been enjoying the rest of my videos. So now I have 2 #1 fans, my Aunt Elise and my Aunt Nicole. Woohoo! My fam loves the videos. So that's really the takeaway. I have 2 #1 fans, both fantastic, both my aunts. Mwah. Shout out to you guys, you're the best. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye!